All right, man. Let's get it started. You ready?
Oh yeah.
All right. What episode are we on?
24.
24.
Episode
Episode
24, yeah.
24. All right. We got a special guest that's going to be coming on in a second as well. His name is Bill DeWitt. He is the co-founder, jack of all trades for California Wild Ales. Before we bring him on in 1 second, I got to crack this beer. I got one of their beers. It is, hold it up to the camera too. I am excited for this. It's a California Wild Ale, Pickle Rick. It's an American Wild Ale. And I know from following that they used local dill as well in the recipe. And I'm a pickle fan, so I'm going to try this out real quick. Let me see.
Nice. Yeah, I've heard of, pickled potato chips and stuff, and never heard of pickle beer though.
Wow. Yeah, that's so weird. It's good. It's like, it's subtly pickle and then finishes sour.
Wow.
So this is one of those beers I kind of made as a joke like 3 years ago for Comic-Con because I just kind of like the name. Sometimes the name precedes the beer.
Okay.
I took some cucumbers from my backyard and some dill from the neighborhood, some black peppercorns that actually have a peppercorn tree by the brewery, some sea salt, and then this year I added a little bit of garlic, maybe like half a clove to, I don't know, 60 gallons or so. But yeah, it smells like a pickle. It tastes like a pickle. It's all the ingredients that go into a pickle minus the brine. I just use my sour beer base.
Dude, that's wild.
Wow. Yeah, that's interesting.
It's still, I mean, if you like pickles, you're going to like this.
So
definitely
3
recommend
years ago, I made 5 gallons of it because I just really didn't know. I was just more interested in kind of seeing what I could do, test the boundaries. And then last year I made 30 gallons and we sold out. And this year I made 60 gallons. And I think if you bought that yesterday, we've got 11 bottles left.
Yeah. Yeah. I noticed it was back in the little mini fridge there too. So I'm like, all right, they're running out. I got to get it while I can.
Yeah.
Okay. So you kind of just jumped right on in. I kind of want to go back a little bit and just want to figure out how this California Wild Ales journey started, how you started. I know you have ties in Chicago. Sure, we're both in San Diego right now. So kind of just take us through the ride that was like getting out and creating this California Wild Ales.
I think it was about 5 or 6 years ago. A buddy of mine just approached me to do a logo and a website for this idea he had for a sour beer company. At the time, my wife was like totally getting into sours. I was just kind of dip my toes in them. I've always just been kind of like lagers and pilsners, Kolsch's. And then I was like, yada, yada, yada. How about I just get involved? And, now I'm half owner of the company, co-founder. I do all the artwork, design, things like that. Because that's where my background lies with graphic design, marketing, things like that. And then so my favorite part is creating the ideas or the concepts of the beers and the flavors. And I don't have like a traditional brewing background. So I just approach it, how would you make a pickle? Well, you start with cucumbers, dill, salt, black peppercorns, and then you do a brine. So I just kind of work in that way. I've done a few other ones where I've done like Meyer lemon and rosemary, because that's how you would cook some sort of Mediterranean dishes and things like that, lamb. So just kind of approach it from there. So we do a lot of pastry sours. So
yeah, the pineapple upside down one is great.
That was a fun one. I had been talking about that for a year, telling people I was going to make it. I'm like, shit, I got this kind of already. So that one's fun because I take the pineapples, dust them with brown sugar, and grill them, and then I make homemade maraschino cherries. So kind of deconstructing what you think would be the ingredients, and then how it might play nice with sour beer.
And so all these beers kind of start as 5-gallon batches then, and then you scale it up, or
a lot of them 5 or 15-gallon batches.
Okay.
The pickle was five gallons just because I had no idea. I've done another one. I did a sauerkraut beer with purple cabbage. That was a 5-gallon one. But most of the 3 years ago, I was doing 15-gallon batches. Now the smallest batches we do are 30. And then that's soon to be replaced by 120. So
wow. Scaling 30, up quick.
50, 120, and 330-gallon batches.
Wow.
That's awesome. Awesome. Yeah. And design and background now, just coming up with creative flavors and pastry flavored sours, pickled flavored sours. It's quite the ambition to just go from one thing to the next.
I'm mostly get tired of my artwork faster than most other people. So everyone's like, oh, this is awesome. I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of sick of that. I'm going to make something. So I'm always trying to kind of push the envelope to make something kind of fun and exciting. And with sour beers, it's kind of like people know a little bit more about it now, but 3 years ago, they knew that they want to try sour beer. And it's kind of like, with wine, you want, if you want red or white, and then, if you want to spend between $10 and $20, and then you're just looking at labels. So for me, that was helpful because I was able to kind of try and make the outside look as pretty as the inside.
Okay.
You're going against the grain out in San Diego and on the West Coast with not doing IPAs or not doing anything like that and sticking to the sours. Like, was that a little scary to kind of go all in on a sour, or?
So again, I had no background in any of this, so kind of really, and I wasn't into IPAs at the time, so I kind of went with what I knew and what I liked, and setting ourselves up as the only place in town doing it kind of created a niche within a niche within a niche. So we weren't really competing with anyone. We were just kind of the weird kids in the corner eating crayons, and they can make their IPA whatever they want. Like we're not really a threat to anyone, So
Right.
made a lot of friends because they wanted to make these styles of beers, but they didn't really want to put their whole brewery at risk. So we did a lot of collaborations where we'd brew some more with them and we'd sour it at our place, and then they get into the finished product, and they were excited to have a barrel-aged sour made with the correct way. I mean, with, Brett, lacto, and thyme. And they were just excited to have it at their place without having to put everything at risk. That being said, we just started making IPAs, hazies, pale ales, and lagers about 3 months ago.
Right.
Because we have a new location in Ocean Beach, which you're familiar with because you were just by there. And we knew that people walking by, we want to have a little something for everyone.
Yeah, and I saw too, was it like you did a collaboration with all the local breweries there for that kickoff of the summer? Like, was it a lager or something that y'all made?
That was a pale ale. It was for the OB Vibe for the
Right.
the summer fair. So that was us, Kilowatt, Hodad's, OB Brewery, Pete Sport, and Nova Brazil. So I think that's all of them, leaving out Mike Hess.
Yeah.
But lucky for Mike Hess, he makes our wort, so we actually do collab with him quite a bit.
Nice.
That's where we brew our wort.
So, I noticed when I was trying to do some research into this, because I don't live out in San Diego, I'm still in Chicago, and yeah. Are you not a Cubs fan? Are you a Sox fan?
On the south side.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The Mariners.
Gotcha. Well, good for you then. Your team's doing well.
Right
so
year, yeah.
Must be real nice.
Must be nice. But what I noticed was that, you guys opened the new tap room in San Diego, right? Not too long ago in May, I think.
May the 4th.
May the 4th. Okay.
Because I got Star Wars beers.
Yeah, I was gonna say, was that on purpose for Star Wars?
I was hoping to open up on 420 because it's OB.
Yeah.
That got pushed back, and then I got my permit on May 3rd, and then on May 4th we opened, and I'm super stoked we did because I had 13 Star Wars themed beers ready for the day. So Han Solo Quat and Padme Amidala and Darth Citrius and I don't even know, just a bunch.
You got a bunch of stuff coming out right now for Comic-Con in a few,
did, yes.
right?
We did. We released 14 new beers and then 4 of my Star Wars beers, so 18 Comic-Con beers, one of which being Pickle Rick. We did SpongeBob Sour Pants, Cherry Potter, Sour Rangers. And like I said, sometimes I just like to come up with the names and figure out how to make it.
Make it happen after that. Yeah. So like a lot of your ingredients for your beer, and it seemed like the decor for your new tasting room and all that stuff is sourced from the local communities. Is that like how important is that to California Wild Ales?
So totally intentional doing that. Involving the community is everything. I've lived here for 13 years. Outside of Chicago, this is the longest I've lived anywhere. And this is such a cool community. And I don't think a place like this could even exist out of a community like this,
Mm-hmm.
As I was in the pandemic, I signed the lease on the place and basically started on the Social Ocean Beach Facebook page, asking people for pallets, fences, old boards, and in a weekend I collected enough to do the whole tasting room. Then I asked for pennies and Legos, and I would show up at the brewery in my mail slot. I'd open the door. It was like those games at the carnivals with the pennies. It was just like pennies everywhere. So I thought it was kind of cool to invite everyone. Because I mean, I could go to the bank and ask for pennies, but then what kind of connection does the community have? So now hopefully it feels like, and it's a corner bar. So you're from Chicago. I mean, the corner bar is everything, not on the main drag of the street, just kind of in the middle of the neighborhood. It's just a corner bar. There's an old style sign outside. Doesn't have a name. That's a corner bar.
Yeah,
Exactly.
absolutely.
Yeah, and you get that vibe walking by too. It's a very like the garage door open kind of front window. Like you walk by and it just kind of invites you right in to walk in. And you could, when you go there a couple times too, you see from like the same faces, and it's becoming like a little neighborhood corner bar.
Spot.
Yeah.
And to this day, I still don't have a sign out front. I'm kind of working on it, but I mean, I've been building it all out myself and kind of at my own pace. I've got 2 little girls under the age of 5 and 2 locations. And so I'm just kind of getting to it as fast as possible. But there's a part of me that thinks it's kind of cool that the locals know about it. And then you got the tourists walking by and then they look up, they're looking for a sign, they look in, they're like, looks fun. Half of them come in, half of them are like afraid and they walk away.
Yeah. So, you said you do all of the artwork too, right?
Yeah. So, graphic designer by trade. And then I moved out here doing web design. Then I worked with the company doing interior design for hotels, hospitals, government buildings, things like that. So kind of took all that amount of experience and built the website, built the tasting room, do all the labels and designs. The bathroom's kind of fun.
It's like all the old labels.
Yeah, it's every label I've made up until about 6 months ago. And so there's probably about like 52 different labels of beer. So it's it was kind of a fun little way to display kind of a lot of stuff I've done.
Yeah, that's a great idea. And so I noticed there was like a little bit of a theme with the little monster guy. Is there a name for that?
So there's 3 monsters or wildlings or creatures or whatever, because some people say with the live yeast and bacteria, they call them bugs in your beer, the live bugs. So the guy in the middle, the tall guy with the proud book is Brett, short for Brettanomyces. So he's the guy who does the fermentation and adds the funkiness, and then the little guy on the left looking confused is Lactobacillus, which you find in sourdough, kombucha, yogurt, things like that. Yeah, it's a lot of tartness. And the other guy looking mischievous on it, the medium-sized guy is Pediococcus, so another bacteria. So
gotcha.
Super intentional. I want to give them little characteristics and personalities and kind of, me on any given day, I guess.
Peeking out too, if you go to the tasting room, he's used a lot of that wood that you got and kind of the draws your attention. You got them all 3 there in the wall.
Yeah, so again, I come from a design marketing background, so I was kind of just trying to turn Brett Brettanomyces, the big guy, into kind of like the Mickey Mouse of sour beer. So you just see him and you're like, oh shit, wild ales.
Yeah,
smart,
for sure.
Smart, yeah, makes total sense.
Totally. And so I thought I saw on there the term yeasty beasties as the name for your bottle club. So I thought maybe that was the name for this collective group of.
Well, they were the Yeasty Boys, but then I got a cease and desist. So
did you really?
now they're the Yeasty
What?
Beasties. And the cease and desist wasn't from the Beastie Boys. It was from a bagel company in LA called the Yeasty Boys.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So you know what? I just said whatever, fuck it, I'll change it. I probably should have just called the Beastie Boys, and I'm like, these dudes are I can't steal their name.
Can you believe this shit? Yeah.
Right. But anyway, I was like, that's not even worth the hassle. I don't really have a lawyer on retainer, so just
I feel like you're doing well if you get a cease and desist. You're like, okay, people are paying attention. And
boys, but I'm gonna cease and desist from a bagel company in LA. I don't know. I don't think it's quite there yet.
That's true. But so could you kind of tell us what that bottle club is, at least for people out in Chicago? I know I was reading that you guys deliver now. If I, to me, I could order something from you guys and you guys would ship it out here. So I don't know if that's something, the bottle club is something that I would be able to have access to, or if that's just kind of a local thing.
Bit of both. So the bottle club was started because that's kind of how our brewery was started. We kind of started as a bottle club, and it was almost a crowdsourcing thing where we had just started and we had beer that was fermenting. So we had 100 people join the bottle club for $200 each, and then they were promised beer throughout the year. It took us a year and a half to get them the beer. So that was the Funky Bunch. That was the original bottle club membership. Fast forward 3 years and pandemic, and we did it this summer where we did another bottle club, and we ended up doing, I think it was 16 bottles, $300, and tons of other swag and things like that. But that is something that can be shipped. Currently, we do a lot of stuff through bevv.com.
Okay.
what they allowed us to do is getting to 9 states plus the District of Columbia. So I believe we go to Alaska, California, Florida, Illinois, Pennsylvania, New York, Massachusetts, and maybe another one. I don't know. And then District of Columbia. So I don't know if my math's right there, but yeah.
That's what I have on my list as well. I was looking at it written down as well.
I'm just looking at you and you're just kind of slowly nodding your head.
No. I was taking a look at that. And so you mentioned the pandemic, and obviously there was probably some struggles, I would think, with opening a brewery within the last couple of months here. I mean, what did you run into within the last couple of years, and how did that kind of affect you guys, or were you able to work through pretty much everything?
We got kind of lucky with the fact that it was just basically Zach and myself, my business partner, Zach Brager. And so when the pandemic hit, I didn't have to lay off single moms or, like do anything where you had to like tell someone, hey, I can't pay you anymore, because it was kind of basically us. So I basically pivoted that first week and put everything into online sales because I do all our web design. So I just opened up the whole e-commerce. Then we got into Bev, and then I did the May the 4th be with you. I bought a crowler machine and started crowlering cans. And we were able to raise, almost $15,000 in 2 weeks, just building up to May the 4th. And people just wanted something to do. They came in, they just bought the beer, and we said, thank you. And there's your sticker, and here's your beer, and sent them on their way. And then after that, it was like, shit, we should do that again.
Yeah.
We did it for Comic-Con, and we did, I think, 13 beers. And then after that, we launched our Bottle Club membership. So that kind of put us in a good position of, being able to still generate money during a time, which I like to say was a pretty good time to be barrel aged souring, because IPAs are getting dumped or they're getting expired, and mine's just kind of slowly getting better. So it was kind of like the year of the lambic,
Mm-hmm. Wow.
What's some of the oldest ones that you have for barrel aged? How long have you guys had some of your sours sitting there aging?
Traditionally, we barrel age between 9 to 12 months. We kind of find that as our sweet spot. We have had some stuff 2 years. We've had some stuff 18 months. Some of that stuff gets a little over acidic. So we'll blend that with some younger beer. One of the fun projects we're doing right now is we've gone up to Nickel Brewing up in Julian for the past.
I was just there. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're amazing. Tom's a great person. They've got a really cool little operation up there. We go up there every winter and brew a wort with them, let it ferment under the night sky, collect the wild yeast, bring it back. And so now I think we have 3 years of stuff barrel aging at different stages. So 3 years, 2 years, 1 year. So now we can start blending some of the lambics together. Although you can't say lambic because it's outside of the region, kind of like champagne. But American lambic or amlam,
right?
We can blend that together to create kind of a goose. So that's kind of a fun thing. We started doing that up there in the mountains, but being California wild ales, I want to do it right. Well, shit, the beach is like. So we can do it at the beach. So we'll do one at the ocean. We'll do one in the desert, one in the forest, and then one in the mountains, and see what we can kind of capture, and then start blending 3-year-old mountain stuff with 2-year-old beach stuff, and just kind of play with some flavors.
That's so cool.
Just because there's so much you can get from yeast, and I think a lot of people think all the flavor comes from hops or all the flavor comes from this, but I mean, it's yeast and water are very important.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's really cool, man. This has been a lot of fun.
Cool.
I've been enjoying this. What do you think the Bears are going to do? Playoffs?
Shit, I don't know. Are we going to be starting our new guy? Game 2.
Justin Fields is going to start. There's a lot of pressure. I'm seeing that they want.
Yeah, I think like game 2, game 3.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of pressure on every quarterback in I almost said OP. In Chicago, I mean, if you look at the list of people from Jim McMahon, I mean, what do we have, like 30 quarterbacks?
It's been tough.
We've had some just bust picks. I don't know. I'd like to give him some time. I mean, but what's our options? We're going to start
Andy Dalton.
I mean, we could do that, I guess. I mean, I gotta look at our schedule. I don't know who we're hitting out of the box right away.
Rams,
we got the
Rams first game.
Yeah, they're up in LA. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think I'm actually going to that game.
Don't know who we're playing first. Oh, I have tickets. Wait a second.
And then I want to go to the Vegas game.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, Vegas.
So
I saw that one was a popular one. Tickets
my
are
buddy was telling me he's going to buy me a
Yeah.
ticket and I can pay him back. It's like $600 for nosebleeds. I'm like,
Yeah, that stadium looks insane. Both those stadiums, brand new this year.
My family's had seasons tickets to Soldier Field for since I was really young. So I used to go to games all the time in the South End Zone with my dad because my dad would never go. So I probably would see 4 games a year from the age of 7 to 25.
Wow,
That's
nice.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
that is awesome. What do you
That's
think
nice
about the potential move out of downtown to
Maybe
Arlington Heights?
Is that what they're saying?
Arlington
Heights,
Heights, yeah.
I don't know.
Potentially.
I mean, I don't really see the point. I mean, and I'm definitely not calling them the Arlington Bears.
Right. Yeah.
Sounds ridiculous.
Mhm.
I mean, what the fuck are we supposed to do at Soldier Field?
Yeah,
That's it.
exactly.
Put the new White Sox stadium there. Tear down the guaranteed
just
rate
have-
new Comiskey.
Have the Dad, Fish, and Dave Matthews play there every year, and that's about it.
Yeah, right. Big touring
Program,
festivals.
sure.
Right.
Yeah.
But man,
Yeah, I
this
don't
has
know.
been great.
Cool.
I don't want to keep you any longer. I'm so happy
Yeah,
that you were able to hop on. I really appreciate it, and hopefully we can do something in the future.
Yeah, thanks so
man.
much
Yeah,
for
I got-
coming on.
Fish live streaming at my brewery up there, so I'm gonna go catch second set.
All right, man. Sounds good.
If anyone's in San Diego, we got the whole couch store, so come on up.
Yeah, go ahead,
All
guys. It's Wild Ales, right? Go ahead and visit them. They're in Ocean Beach. They got a tasting room there. Your second location is where? Your original?
The first location is in Sorrento Valley.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then your website, you got a website, just Wild Ales, CaliforniaWildAles.com.
CaliforniaWildAles.com, or you can find us on social media just at California Wild Ales.
All right, Bill. Thanks, man.
Thanks
Appreciate
so much,
it.
Bill. It's nice to meet you.
Appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
See you later.
See ya.
All right, peace.
So I'm drinking a Around the Bend Beer Company is the brewery. It's a Maui Gold Citrus Session IPA with some pineapple in there. Around the Bend, I talked about District Brew Yards a little bit a couple episodes back. They're over in West Town. It's the nation's first collective production brewery, beer hall, and shop under one roof. So you go there, you pour your own beer, you can get some Lily's barbecue and just have an overall great time. But Around the Bend Beer Company is one of the breweries at District Brew Yards, them and 3 others. But this is pretty good. I mean, it's definitely an IPA with that just like a hint of pineapple. You like almost don't even taste it really. But it's good. It's got a 3.7 on Untapped. Pretty easy drinking, good summer IPA. What do you got going on over there?
So I have this, and you'll hear from them in a few here, but I got another California Wild Ale. I've had them on before. They specialize in sours. And the one I had was an American Wild Ale, and it's the name of it's Pickled Rick, and it is a pickled flavored wild ale, sour, and it's something. Like I was just drinking it, and it's like very like pickle juice flavor front. Like you get that right off the bat. You taste like you're almost sipping on pickle juice, but really quickly turns into just a good tasting sour right after that. And I really enjoy pickles. I'll eat them like a jar of pickles, like a bag of chips. So I think this is delicious. I would highly recommend,
Nice.
but I think he said they'll be coming on draft in a little bit. They're just brewing another batch right now. So, and that was brewed with local dill as well in the Ocean Beach community, and a couple other, I think he's peppercorn, a couple other flavor spices and flavors were locally harvested. So California Wild Ales, good stuff.
Nice. So this has been a big week for Chicago sports in general. Man.
It's been one of the most like can't put my phone down checking like Twitter weeks of Chicago sports in a long time.
Yeah, seriously, my phone's been dead the whole week. It's it's crazy.
What do you want to start with, man?
Yeah, let's start with the Cubs because there was just so many
back?
moves. Yeah, we'll go back a little bit. So we'll kind of run through each of these trades here that they made. Overall grade. You want to give it a grade here for all these trades?
I mean, it would be a little biased because I like Keith Law like put out a tweet and I listened to him on I think like 1000 or 670. But if I were to give Jed a grade for the trades, like just based off the trades, I'd probably give him like a B.
Okay.
But, like the handling of it all, probably like a C- or D+.
Okay.
But
I was gonna say B+ on the trades. So yeah, right about the same.
Yeah.
I think he got a decent return for some of these guys. But
yeah, but I'm like I said earlier too, like, yeah, we got a decent return. We got, I saw like our farm system moved up from like 20 to number 8, and that's still without a couple other guys being taken into account for there. But we just shouldn't, I don't know, like having to trade away Javi, Chris, and Rizzo, it shouldn't have come to that. So, I mean, yeah, we did all right with the trade and everything, but I'm just still a little upset that it came to that. But I mean, after this year, I'll be looking at the farm system. We'll be planning our spring training trip, and we'll be kind of excited for these kids to come up again.
Okay. Yeah. So let's just run through these real fast. Jack Peterson was traded to Atlanta. We got back Bryce Ball. He's a first base prospect at high A right now.
Yeah. Power hitter.
He's got some upside, but they're saying he's projecting to be maybe a platoon first baseman, power bench bat. But Jack wasn't in long-term plans. So, it's good. You got rid of him and you got somebody with a high upside. So I think that was a good trade for sure. Andrew Chafin traded to the A's, brought back Greg Dykman and Daniel Palencia. Dykman's an outfielder and Palencia is a starting pitcher. Chafin was the dude, man. He was the face of the franchise this year, in my opinion. That guy was so much fun to see him on there.
But also he looks great. He looks great in Oakland athletic uniform. Like,
it's true.
With that facial hair, Raleigh Fingers is like, smiling on the Oakland A's right now with that that mustache.
I saw John Deere tweet at him, "You look good in green and yellow." But so Dykman slots in as the Cubs' 20th best prospect. Palencia throws in the upper 90s, who's like an upside pitcher. So I think that was a good return for somebody that obviously not in long-term plans at all. He just was having a hell of a year, and they got peak value for him, I think. So that was another good trade. Ryan Tepera got traded to the White Sox for Bailey Horn. I didn't really think highly of this one. The guy, he's a lefty, but he doesn't throw hard, doesn't have a lot of potential, supposedly. Didn't crack the Cubs top 30.
Sounds like another Kyle Hendricks.
So it could be. I wasn't that impressed with this trade, though. I mean, after seeing what they got back for Chafin and then seeing this, I'm just like, why couldn't you get more? Anthony Rizzo was traded to the Yankees for Kevin Alcantara and Alexander Vizcaino. This one I think hurt the most out of all of them, just because I did not expect Rizzo to go. I really thought, from all the word on the street before all this happened was that Javi and Rizzo were unlikely to be dealt. So I wasn't prepared for that. And this shoe dropped a little bit before, Kimbrel or Bryant even did. So I was just not prepared for it. And I think a lot of fans were in the same boat because they weren't prepared for Rizzo to be gone. But on the flip side, Alcantara and Vizcaino are good prospects.
I think that trade's like regarded as our best return.
Yeah. Alcantara is the Cubs' number 11 prospect now. He's only 19, has a high ceiling, and they're saying he's built like a young Dexter Fowler. Vizcaino is a 24-year-old righty, and he slots in as the Cubs' number 8 prospect, throws mid to upper 90s, has reached triple digits before, could be a mid-rotation starter. So that would be sick if both those guys come up in their future starters. I think, that's just it's a good return for Rizzo, who is getting older, and, they offered him a contract.
He's got the bad back. Just hits 2 bombs the next 2 days he gets traded.
Yeah.
So. Did you see those comments though? Like when Jed came on, like Rizzo came on finally and like kind of talked about it. And Rizzo was like, look, there's kind of a common denominator why all 3 of us didn't sign extensions. Because Jed came out and said he was frustrated. He was really confident in the deals that he offered the players, and he thought those would hold up to like really strong bids from the market, and just didn't know why, if these guys are going in the media saying they want to be Cubs for life, then why didn't they kind of put their, the money where their mouth is, or mouth with the money? I don't know how that really works, but you know what I'm talking about.
Right.
And then, then none of them accepted the extensions. And then Rizzo came on and kind of like took another shot at Jed after he said that, and said, well, there's one common denominator. I don't know if that's a Jed shot, if it's a Ricketts shot, but wasn't a great breakup. But sorry. And also I saw Keith Law said Alcantara was probably the one prospect with the highest ceiling to be like a star. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, still only 19 and already regarded as our 11th best prospect. That's pretty damn good. So the next trade was Craig Kimbrell got traded to the White Sox. The Cubs got Nick Madrigal and Cody Hewer, who are both on the Sox roster at point this year. Madrigal is hurt, and Hewer was in the bullpen for them. Hewer's ERA was not looking good this year. Had a decent year last year. I think he's somebody that they're expecting to be in our bullpen, and really Madrigal was the big piece in this one. He's a guy that hits. He's about a 300 hitter. He's a really good major league ready contact hitter. Might be already one of the best 2-strike hitters in all of baseball. Plays good defense, still only 24, and he's under club control until 2027. So all of that is good. I don't know that he's got a ceiling of Trey Turner by any means.
Yeah,
but
that's
I
the
think
thing.
he's,
Like,
he's a better Nico Horner. So that's good. And
it kind of pains me to say it, that I think he's going to be like, for some reason, I think of like the Cardinals, like middle infielders for years when they were winning World Series, or just these like guys that get on base, nothing flashy, but they're there for like 8 years in a row. And they're like, always just like, God damn it, this guy's up again. Like, and he's going to get that hit that moves the runner over and like just kind of kill you with 1,000 stabs, and not as much of a power or flash, but he's going to be solid. He's going to be solid. And like you said, we got him under control for a long time.
Got him under control. He's going to be in the lineup for sure. He was hitting like 8 or 9, I think, for the Sox earlier in the season. So I think with the Cubs, he'll probably hit up towards the top, but I think, by the time we're ready to contend again, maybe he's 7, 8, 9 hitter. But somebody that's, can't count him out in any count. So that's good that they got somebody like that who's major league ready and will be, fun to watch kind of within the next year or so, because a lot of these other guys that they're getting are prospects that we're not going to see for a little bit, which leads me to the next trade, which is the Javi Baez and Trevor Williams traded to the Mets for Pete Crow Armstrong. So you're seeing 2 major league guys going for 1 minor league guy. So you better expect that minor leaguer to be good. And this one is slotting in as the Cubs' number 6 prospect already. He's still only 19 and he's an A-ball. His ETA isn't until 2024. So we got a little bit of time before we can, see this guy in the majors. But he was drafted 19th overall in the 2020 draft by the Mets, seen as one of the best pure hitters in that draft class, has gold glove potential, it says on MLB.com, and he's got top of the order offensive upside. So I think that's a good return for Javi, whose contract was expiring. And, if the reports were that we actually offered him a deal and he didn't want to take it, and there wasn't any movement on that, then okay, deal him and, get what you can for him.
Yeah. I mean, I don't
like a guy that's a good prospect.
Yeah. I don't like it. Since we had to, I'm not upset that we had to trade, but again, and this kid, he's supposed to be, like you said, top of the order, gold gloves, was really fast. I know it's like he didn't really get to have a start because of COVID after being drafted, so it's kind of delayed that a little bit. And also, his mom was the mom in Little Big League, so there's a nice little fun fact about him.
Yeah, both of his parents are actors.
Yeah,
so that's kind of interesting. But we replaced Trevor Williams' dad with his parents. Jake Marisnick was traded to the Padres for Anderson Espinoza. Espinoza is a 23-year-old pitcher. He was the Padres' number 8 prospect, but doesn't slot inside the Cubs' top 30. So you can see just from that right there, the Padres had one of the best, list of prospects a couple of years back. Now their number 8 guy is not even in our top 30. That just tells you how good the Cubs, have done, with these trades. And over the last year, I think just kind of shaping the farm system a little bit. But so you trade Marisnick and you get a team's top 10 prospect. Obviously, I don't know what kind of market there was for Jake Marisnick, but that's a good deal to me. I think that was a great trade to get somebody like that. I think Espinoza is coming off Tommy John. I think he's had 2 Tommy John surgeries in the last 3 or 4 years here.
Like hasn't pitched since 2018 or something like that, right?
Right. But still be regarded as one of their better prospects. I mean, I think that's either their farm system is really bad.
Well, I think it's depleted. Like if you would look at the Cubs farm system in 2016, 2017, when we were going for it all, like the Padres are right now. I mean, either those studs are on your major league roster or you flip them for win now type of people. And so like for that Padres prospect and also the teenagers we got at the beginning of the year for you, Darvish, don't know where those guys are at, but yeah, it's going to be tough. And for a lot of them, we're just not going to know. None of these guys, not all of these guys are going to pan out too. So it's like,
Right. Some of these guys won't even make the
Baseball's
majors.
it's such a crapshoot sometimes like that. Like the best player we might have got from this trade from all these trades might be the guy from Atlanta for Jock Peterson, the big hit in first baseman. Who knows, right? Like it's a crapshoot. But and then so we're getting to the Chris Bryant trade.
Yep. And the last one is Bryant to the Giants for Alexander Canario, who's an outfielder, and Caleb Killian, who's a right-handed pitcher. Canario has above average power. It says he's currently in high A, another guy in A ball with an ETA of 2023, but he slotted in as the Cubs number 7 prospect. And Caleb Killian slots in as the Cubs number 16 prospect. He's 24. So we might see him sooner than some of the other prospects. Another guy with back end starter as a projection, but has lots of potential. Honestly, Canario, I think is interesting. But I thought we'd get more for KB. I think everybody did. We waited till the last minute, and that tells me that the market wasn't as big for KB as everybody was saying. I think a lot of the stuff that we saw in the media was reports that were being put out to try and inflate his value, in my opinion.
I think everyone's afraid of Boris. I mean, you're going to trade the house for KB knowing that agent is not going to allow him to resign. He is testing the open market. He is going to get the best deal possible. So it's, I mean, that's tough for other clubs looking at that saying, we're not going to mortgage, our future for this 3-month rental here. So I think that's why that dwindled so much, is that, Boris's reputation. Chris Bryant is a really well-known name, and no doubt he's testing free agency.
Absolutely. So like you said,
go to the Dodgers.
Yeah. Oh God. like you said, I mean, the farm system got that much better. I mean, that from 20 to 8, that's a huge improvement. So good on Jed for that. But we didn't walk away with a top 100 prospect. With all of these guys that we traded, we didn't walk away with anybody that I'm
like super,
counting on.
Right. It's not the Gleyber Torres. It's not the Jorge Soler, Javi.
Right.
Like it's not those type of names, and it's not really wet in the palate either. Like I'm not super excited for Crow Armstrong or Bryce Ball, right? Like I think I'm still most excited about is the kid from what's his face from the Jackie Robinson team, Ed Howard. I want to see Ed Howard. I think that's Ed Howard. I think is the
Cubs number 5 prospect right now. But I mean the Blue Jays traded Austin Martin and Woods Richardson, who are both really highly regarded prospects for Jose Barrios. So for them, they reloaded and got 2 guys that are seen as, surefire MLB players within the next year or 2 for one guy. So I'm wondering what we could have got for Kyle Hendricks, and I'm wondering if we're still going to trade him in the offseason, because
doesn't sound like it the way they talk about him.
Yeah. His deal is really, really team friendly.
Yeah. And Jed brought him up when he was talking about, those guys not accepting deals. He goes, and that just goes to show you what kind of guy Kyle is. He's always been transparent, wanted to be here. He means what he says. And so there's like another jab there, but also there's a big love affair, I think, between the Cubs and Hendricks. I think he'll stay.
Yeah. So that's where we stand right now. We'll keep an eye on the Cubs the rest of the way.
Come on, see red. Let's go.
See red. So what do you want to start with here?
Let's go. Let's start with
just in the last 2 days here.
Man, I am to quote Jim Boylan, I am just jacked and juiced right now for this Chicago Bulls basketball team.
Don't you ever quote Jim Boylan on this podcast ever again.
It's almost like I need to wake up because I don't believe this, right? Being like following Garpax for so long, and every time there's like a free agent summer or the trade deadline, there's always smoke, and there's never an actual deal being signed. And the Carmelo was going to come here, LeBron was going to come here, all of these free agents were going to come here, and none of them do. This was like every time you saw a rumor, Lonzo rumored to go to the Bulls, boom, signed and trade. And then
immediately too, like right when it opened. Yeah.
Immediately. And then the DeMar DeRozan, that was when I was like, I'll believe it when I see it. There's no way that's happening.
There was a lot of smoke to that one though. And I was like, this actually might happen here.
And then they went ahead and got him. I saw that it was 85 million guaranteed. And we gave up a 1st-round draft pick, which is never great to give up a 1st-round draft pick. But if you want to talk yourself into it, it's probably going to be a pick in the 20s. So, I mean, your starting lineup as is right now, we still have to see what they're going to do with Markkanen.
Yeah, this is a playoff team for sure. So this
Lonzo
is
at the 1, pick. Zach at the 2, DeRozan at the 3, Pat Williams at the 4, and Vooch at the 5. Like, dude,
stacked.
That's at least 3 All-Stars. We'll see what
Mhm.
Lonzo can do this year with those people around him as well. I mean, Lonzo's gotten better. He's like Zach. He's gotten better every single year he's been in the league. He averaged
Yeah.
something around like 15 points, I don't know, like 6 rebounds, 5 assists or something like that last year. And now to be around like DeRozan, Zach, and Vooch, I think those outlier stats of rebounds and assists are only going to go up. So he's going to be flirting with some triple doubles pretty often. I just can't wait to see this team play. Like, we have a legit team. They can all shoot. They can all pass. They're all really easy able to score. And then you got Billy Donovan that you got too, who's a professional coach, who's going to be able to hopefully figure out how to put all these players together. And Caruso as well as a bench player. Lakers Twitter is just like going crazy, losing him.
I'm wondering what that's all about. Like obviously Caruso's a fine player, but he only averaged 6, 3, and 3 last year. I mean, is he just somebody that can come in and light a fire off the bench? I mean, what
exactly. And he's like he's a try-hard, plays really good defense. So he's probably going to be one of the best defenders on our team. He's going to be throwing his body around there. Just think of like Archie Diacono, but good. Also, Caruso's athletic as hell. Like, he can get up, block shots, dunk the ball. And he's strong. Like, the dude's, he's older too. He's 20. Well, for this team, he's 27, but I think it's a solid signing. We paid him a little bit more than I was expecting. But he really kind of solidifies the backcourt. Really question mark there is Kobe White. Cause you got Io that you just drafted. You got Lonzo that you just signed. You got Caruso, who's another guard. He's probably more of a 2 guard than a point guard. So where does Kobe White end up?
Well, do you think they're expecting that much out of Io, who was drafted in the last week as well? So, I mean, that's another addition to this team.
Yeah.
We didn't get a chance to talk about. I mean, it's pretty awesome that he fell to the Bulls there. But does that say a lot about him that all these teams, every team passed on him?
I don't know
what was going on there.
And I talked about him when we were doing like the March Madness stuff. He's a tall guard. He's like 6'6". He's pretty below average athlete, I would say. And his jump shot isn't that great, but he's a great defender. He's very, very smart. He's kind of a leader, just natural leader. I think he's going to mesh really well with the older players and experienced players in the locker room. And to not be relied on to like go score or to do anything flashy and just be like a role player, I think he's going to excel in that. He's got no pressure with all of these moves right now. He's got no pressure to come in and just be a solid, because he's going to be smart enough to run an offense and he's going to be smart enough to play good defense. And if he could do that instead of having Kobe White come and jack up threes and just, I mean, yeah, he's fun to watch, but he really doesn't do much for winning basketball. I think Io is going to do more for winning basketball.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. So I think Kobe's, they might be trying to like pair Markkanen with a Kobe and seeing if they can get, because we need big guys, seeing if we can get a backup center or another like big power forward that can maybe knock down a 3 kind of deal. I saw like Markieff Morris was being talked about. One of the Morris brothers would be a fun signing there, but I'm going to stay glued. I'm going to keep watching, but I am pumped, man. I've been talking the whole time. How you feeling about this?
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about it. I mean, so here's the deals that brought us these guys. Bulls got DeRozan. It was a 3-year, $85 million deal. We gave up, it was a sign and trade deal with the Spurs. We gave up Thad Young, future first round pick, and 2 seconds. DeRozan averaged 21, 4 rebounds and 7 assists last year. I mean, obviously hell of a player. Everyone knows who he is. Bulls land Lonzo Ball in a sign and trade, 4 years, $85 million deal. They send Tomas Satoransky, Garrett Temple, and a 2nd round pick back to the Pelicans for Lonzo. I mean, that is just an unbelievable deal for the Bulls. Is it Lonzo Bull now? Is that what everyone's calling him?
The Lonzo Bulls. Yeah.
Lonzo Bull. So Lonzo averaged career highs in 3-point percentage, field goal percentage, free throw percentage, true shooting percentage, points per game, with 14.6. He also had a career low in turnover percentage, and his usage percentage last year was at a career high. So, I mean, what more could you ask for? The guy was playing his ass off last year. He's just getting better. He's still really young. That's a great
fast break's going to be so much. So, I mean, like it was painful to watch fast breaks with this team, probably for the last like 5-6 years of just like, they didn't know how to run a fast break. And now just thinking about like Zach, DeRozan, and Lonzo leading it. Lonzo's one of the, in my opinion, better passers in the league. He's one of those guys who can get the ball at their free throw line, turn around, and send that 3/4 of the way down the court for a fast break layup to Zach streaking or another guy streaking. So
for
It's gonna be a
sure.
lot of fun to watch. It's gonna be a different brand of basketball for sure than we've been seeing.
Yeah, and I think they're
At
hoarding a
center.
lot of these guards now, like Kobe and Io. And I mean, Lonzo's never played a full season. He's had some injuries, but maybe they'll manage his workload a little bit next year, just to make up for that. Because you don't think so?
No, and I think like if you look at games played, him, Zach, DeRozan, Vooch, these are a lot of players that don't do load management. They go out and play, which is awesome to see. I also like totally forgot, and I saw that DeRozan and Vooch were college teammates at USC. So
Oh
that's
yeah,
a
that's
cool
crazy.
little reconnection there. But yeah, I don't think they're gonna be managing. I don't think that's how this team's going to be built. I don't think that's what Billy's going to want to do. It's a young
Okay.
enough team too, to where it's going to be like, get out and run. This team is going to be running. We're going to be getting up a lot of shots, and we're going to be athletic as hell. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, it does sound like a lot of fun to watch. So I'm excited about that as well. I'm back in on the Bulls. I'll just say it right now.
I never left. But welcome.
Yeah. So the last thing is the Bears. We'll talk about it a little bit later with our guest Bill. But Louis Riddick said Justin Fields looking as advertised in camp here. What do you think? What do you think about that? Matt
Yeah,
Nagy's
you know how I want him to be. He's going to be a stud. He's going to be great. But I just like.
hasn't been a single negative thing about him. There
Do you
have
see
been
the
other guys that
clips? He's under no pressure. He's like just sitting back there and
he looks
toss it
fantastic
he's
doing
in
it.
Okay,
And
yeah,
he looks fantastic doing it.
yeah.
Matt Nagy's saying he's picking up the play calling really quickly. I don't think he ever said that about Mitch Trubisky. So
I
even
just hope
use
we
the word,
don't we don't
even
get
use
too
the
high.
word
Too,
mastering. He
yeah.
was saying he mastered the play calling already.
God,
I
we're gonna
mean,
do it, aren't we? We're gonna get way too high on this kid. He's gonna come in. He's probably gonna get hurt, and we're just gonna. Oh my God, we're gonna do it again. Chicago's gonna ruin. Chicago's gonna
That's the
ruin
only
another
way we do it.
quarterback.
We
Yeah.
only have one speed, Dan. The Hall of Fame game is this Thursday, so that'll be interesting. And then Nick Foles saying that he's fired up. It says he's open to move to Indianapolis, who had a recent injury to Carson Wentz, but he is enjoying being a third stringer. So him saying he's fired up, I don't know if like he actually said that, or if this is just like the media trying to hype him up a little bit, or if the Bears are trying to,
It's a sales pitch of
push
himself.
Yeah, exactly. He's
That's all
puffing
it
out
is.
his chest as
Yeah.
a third stringer, saying, "I want a job.
Yep.
I'm ready to do
still
this.
got
I'm
it.
good enough. I still got it. I'm better than I was when I won the Super Bowl." I think he even said too.
Yeah.
Or I saw that somewhere. So, I mean, ultimately, I think he gets traded.
I hope so. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we'll get something
Whatever.
back from Indy, probably fifth, sixth round or whatever it may be. But give him a shot. Let him play in Indy. I think he'll get some meaningful
Well, not Indy,
snaps in
because
there early going.
Indy just signed. Not the Colts. They just signed Hundley, the old Packers guy.
Brad Hundley.
Yeah. So they just signed him. So I don't think they would do Foles for.
Yeah, we'll
Wentz
see how
again.
that goes.
Yeah.
Well, somebody is going to end up with Foles because the Bears, he's just going to hold the clipboard and they're going to be paying him this money. I don't think so. I think they're motivated
Houston.
to move him.
See what happens to Deshaun.
Could be. Deshaun Watson wasn't present, I don't think, for the first day of camp there. Wasn't running the offense. So that's something to keep an eye on as well. But Bears, all systems go. We're going to win.
Super Bowl, Super Bears.
Super Bowl, Super Bears.
Bulls championship, Bears championship. And that team on the South Side might win a World Series.
Yeah, put the parlay down. Do it now. All right, man. Well, it's been a lot of fun.
And crazy time. It's been a lot of fun. Yeah. A lot of stuff going on in Chicago sports. It's a great time to be a Chicago sports fan, unless you're only a Cubs fan. Then it's tough.
Yeah.
All right. Episode 24.
Episode 24, man.
In the books. Thanks for listening.
Peace.
Cheers.